What's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. Today is the 15th of December, 2025, Hanukkah, okay? This is a video on our main side, 1/4 of In The Image Clothing Company. Here we allow the body to work. We do it through clothing, but we do it through anything that clothes the human body. The human body is just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space, okay? Seriously, truly, actually. There's only one way the human body could ever work, despite any opinion out there, right? Yikes. There's a center line to the human body. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw, stabilizing the entire body. These things have to stay in the center, on Earth's center of gravity. There's a video here under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company titled Your Center of Gravity, because we have to stay over our own center of gravity as well, okay? A lot of that comes through a lot of what I'm going to discuss in this video, which is clothing. Anything that clothes the human being, even glasses, jewelry, whatever it is, a hat, shoes, and then what we think of as regular clothing. The human body is designed by God to work. In the image of God, Jesus Christ, is how our bodies are designed. That's where we get our 3 of the 5 words to our one company name, okay? In the Image Clothing Company. Yeah, there's only one way the human body could ever work. There's a neutral position to all the joints, like the wrist here you can see. There is only one way the hands work. There is only one way the feet work, okay? Videos I've made down in beautiful St. George, Utah, here under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. We're based in St. George, Utah. We live up Utah as In The Image Clothing Company. But really, we allow the body to work. We've got feet at our foundation, and they grip arches inward, opposing the center line, and that's what keeps us vertical. The feet have to work how the feet work. There is only one way the feet work. There's bones connecting to other bones through ligaments, and a thin layer of cartilage between there that just allows the bones to not wear out. That's all the bones in the body, by the way. And then the musculature just connects to the bones through tendons, so that we can just move the bones. The only reason we need musculature is because we have bones to move. The human body's skeletal system just has a neutral position to everything, okay? There's 2 sides to everything. There's opposition in all things. There's rotations in the body. Here in the forearms, okay, from the fingertips up to the elbow, with the thumbs up or forward, depending on if your elbows are bent. Straight out from that pinky, from the outside of the forearm, is the neutral wrist. But then we've got internal rotation, back to neutral, and external rotation in those 2 bones in the forearms, the radius and the ulna. In the entire arms, from the thumbs up here, or the thumbs forward, down at our sides, we've got internal rotation, back to neutral, and then external rotation, and back to neutral. In the lower legs, there's 2 bones, just like the forearms. We've got internal rotation, back to neutral, and external rotation, then back to neutral. Straight forward from that pinky toe, just like straight forward from the hand. When we talk about the height of a gripped arch in the foot, the arch grips inward, and then there's that pinky toe straight forward. We've got different length toes, and then we roll evenly off the ends of our different length toes. They kind of point up and in like an arrow to the center of the body, so our feet actually roll in. Then we've got this neutral outward curvature of the lower legs, traveling up, allowing the knee to bend in line, so we don't wear out the cartilage in our knees. And then up the upper leg into the hip socket. That's what allows for open hips, is the feet, okay? Where open hips really come from is a video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company here, and really it's the feet more than anything else. It can be the pant waistlines, it can be from the shoulders down, it can be from the jaw being imbalanced, stabilizing the entire body, or from the hands in. But the feet are the base and the support of our bodies on Earth's gravity, okay? So, the feet are huge, okay? The feet only work barefooted, really. I mean, that's a video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company, meaning any shoes we put on our feet, they just need to be a nice covering for our feet without altering the way the feet work, because there is only one way they do, okay? The feet work. There's only one way the feet work. There is only one way the feet are shaped. Another video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company here. There's only one way. I mean, it's just bones connecting to each other. They have to track in line without just binding up. And so everything just has to be in its neutral position. There's two sides to all the functioning. Like we say, opposition in all things. That's what we discuss in the Gospel of Jesus Christ. 1/4 of In the Image Clothing Company is In the Image Clothing Company podcast. We're on episode 193 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast as of last night. And we just discuss God, the creator and designer of all of this, Jesus Christ, as he says that he is. We don't do it perfect, but he is perfect. You don't have to believe in anything or be religious or care for everything to be here, and you as well. You know, life is just what it is. There's actually truth to life, otherwise nothing could exist if there wasn't universal truth. So, yeah, I mean, we discuss how you can't have an opinion on anything unless there's first something there to have an opinion on, and that thing has to be the truth. God is the same, yesterday, today, and forever, unchanging, and so is the human body. We're designed in the image of God. Our information and where we talk about clothing sitting to allow the body to work applies to everyone. Like I say, man, woman, tall, short, skinny, fat, any age, any part of the earth, any time period to ever be, you're just a human being, and there's only one way the human body could ever work, and so our information applies to everyone always and forever. We acknowledge amputations, deformities, major surgeries, birth defects, or anything like this that sets you, and really your body, apart a little bit or quite a bit. Well, we're all different, a little bit, and sometimes quite a bit. But it is what it is. There's a universal human design. There's only one way the human body could ever work. At its baseline foundation, it all has to work activated as a whole. Everything's there. It all has its own individual role to play. Nothing can make up for something else's role in the body through compensation because they have different functions. The hand can't make up for the role of the elbow and anything in the body. But that's just an example. They're just entirely different things. Everything that's there, it's there for a reason, okay? And anywhere any of it goes, all of it comes too. So, it just has to work. You can't drag around dead weight with part of your body not working and have the rest of your body working. It doesn't happen, okay? It doesn't really happen. But that's the state that so many people are in. So, welcome. I mean, we're a little over 14 and a half months into the founding of In the Image Clothing Company. I'm in this for life, leading this, doing this, helping people with their bodies. And it's big, okay? And so this video's title is Chronically Short. Let's say it like this, because we could say chronically tight muscles from clothing patterns. Let's say chronically short muscles from clothing. There you go. That's the title, and this is the point. When we discuss this, right? Clothing has to stay centered, fit correct, where we discuss clothing sits because there is a universal human design, and be made in all the ways that we can from 100% natural materials. Unnatural materials didn't even exist just a few decades ago from today's date. The body's only natural. The goal is natural on all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company. We discuss eating, sleeping, standing, walking, sitting, breathing, hydration. And I just say those things because that gives a broad understanding of, we really discuss everything we do as a human being, and doing it naturally, just meaning the only way it can happen. We didn't have any of these things that we have nowadays that are man-made until mankind made them. But mankind was made by God, and we've been here for a long time as human beings. But things like the unnatural materials in our food, well, you can call it materials, but, artificial, synthetic, preservatives, flavors, colorings, and just unnatural things, unnatural materials in clothing. Often those bring stretch with them. These things didn't even exist, though, is the point, right? It's very, very new. A lot of what makes In the Image Clothing Company needed, as much as we're needed in modern day, is just how much the world is so different than it ever has been for anyone to live before our generation as of now. And then it just gets worse as time progresses, which sounds crazy, but that's what I mean. It's prophesied. It's in the Gospel of Jesus Christ. It's the truth of all things. It's no claim, no opinion, no belief, but look around, it's happening, okay? It's an explanation of life. It's a blueprint. It's a map. It's God, the creator of everything, telling us who he is so we know. in a world where we can seem and feel and be so lost. There's truth to life, by the way, and I don't get to decide. But what I can do is understand how the human body works and deliver this information. And what I can do is learn who God is personally to me, because he's a personal God. He's perfect. He knows everything. And then I can share the information to you, whoever you are. Okay, everybody, anybody, all the people. We're all just equal. Anyway, we've got another fourth of us in the Image Clothing Company music. A lot of what gets shown is the sizing and setup of guitar to not alter things like the neutral wrist. We talk about just in all aspects of life, fingernails and toenails, all the way to the tips of the fingers and toes, fully supporting them, backing them, giving us that natural strength. Cut relatively flat on the tips so we stay in this neutral wrist position and the neutral ankle position, the gripped arch position, okay? Neutral rotations in the lower legs, traveling up the whole body. Wow, I know what I'm talking about. I love to say that because I really do, but at the same time, don't believe me. Don't believe in the Image Clothing Company with any of its information. Anybody at the Image Clothing Company's team, and me is Evan Strong, right? The founder of the Image Clothing Company. Don't believe us, because truth is truth. It doesn't matter if you believe anything. It's still correct if it's correct. It's apart from all of us. The truth to life that is there has to be. Nothing could exist if stuff didn't exist. I mean, there's opposition in all things, meaning it's like the body, right? The human body only pulls. A video under the main side of the Image Clothing Company here. The human body just takes muscles and pulls two endpoints where they connect into bones together. Even in what seems like a push, it's just muscles on the back side of a function pulling together to extend a hinge joint. And we think we're pushing, we're really pulling. Okay? It is what it is. And on the Image Clothing Company music, in addition to the sizing and setup of guitar that gets shown, we show the music we make. We make a lot of music, rhythm and poetry, spoken word, freestyling, singing, guitar playing, just a lot of music geared around the gospel of Jesus Christ and all the things that we do with music going forth. This is our approaches to things, is what I'm saying here. That's why I'm saying it, okay? And sometimes I just pout about things, you know, in a silly way. It's fun because I'm just here to deliver information. I have a really good time with these videos. We do so much under the gift of video, and always will, always have, as in the Image Clothing Company. That's a big part of what we are, is just videos. And living up Utah, the state of Utah here in the United States of America, for the sake of the nature, for the sake of church history within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Utah is so beautiful, so diverse. We've got so much of this, and a lot of things that don't really look anything like this because it's very diverse here, okay? We're based in St. George, Utah, but we'll span the state of Utah and go to wherever else we do. Arizona and Nevada are very close to St. George, Utah when it comes to events we do in person with people under the Image Clothing Company. And well, one of those event types is Poodle Parade events. Another fourth of the Image Clothing Company is the Image Clothing Company Poodles. And I get it, blunt, bold, raw, and real. It's noisy with this highway over here. That truck engine braking as it's going down the canyon road. I hear you. I do. I hear it. I get it. the Image Clothing Company Poodles. We specialize in purebred standard poodles. We give information on letting dogs stay natural. The same thing as allowing the body to work for human beings. Oh my heavens, listen to the noise. I can wait. It's like an elementary school teacher, you know. the Image Clothing Company Poodles, specializing in purebred standard poodles is what we do. We give information though that applies to not only all dogs on letting dogs stay natural, but just about all animals. Because we just discussed how to let animals stay natural. I mean, that could be our slogan, really, but it's about, you know, what it's about. And we breed poodles, register them properly, and advocate for doing that, okay? Purebred dogs and why that's important. We keep less dogs in shelters and more dogs at homes by teaching how to be a good owner of dogs. And yeah, there's a lot that comes with it, right? Keeping collars centered for human beings and dogs is a big importance to place, okay? Things like In the Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification. If there's a seam in the collar of our top, and I've got stacked double collar seams right now, but we've just got a circumference around our neck, meaning a circle, a spherical positioning, right? God's course is one eternal round, and we need our collars to sit evenly around our neck. Same for the dogs. We have In the Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification. We just modify the area where there's just twice as thick material, where the seam is, to have the collar sit as evenly as we can around our necks. Man, it's been a beautiful video already. I love it. I love getting interrupted. I love being told and spoken to by God when to slow down, where to put more focus, what to really do and how to approach things, where to film a video, timings of things. You know, God is perfectly ever present. And a lot of times we just kind of miss things if we're not paying attention and listening to that still small voice, as it says in Scripture, right, of the Holy Spirit of God. If we're just trying to plow through our lives and we're not taking time to slow down and try to be as in tune as we can with God, who does and is there and remains always, he's just underlying everything else, because there's craziness to life, man. And we've got to kind of, slow down sometimes. We've got long videos. That's a lot of reason as to why is just, we're just here. We're not trying to make some, thing that won't last. We're here for eternal truths and things that never change, as in the Image Clothing Company. So yeah, letting dogs stay natural. One of the things we do is poodle parade events. And I guess this is a big point. I think that's why I got so interrupted by the truck. I have to hit this point so hard, and I have and I do, but just to really emphasize it, what we do through dogs, and specifically on our end, as in the Image Clothing Company, really in the Image Clothing Company poodles, that fourth of us, purebred standard poodles specifically, furthering good bloodlines of dogs and just the health of the dogs. That's the reason for purebred dogs. That's the reason why we breed purebred standard poodles. And what we will be doing with dogs is huge. It's such a big part of all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company. And there's a lot to it. Last night's episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast, titled, I Run a Clothing Company and Do Things with Dogs, episode 193, okay? In the Image Clothing Company podcast. What I discussed a lot in there is a lot of what we will be doing with the dogs, why it's so much more than just breeding cute puppies, why it's so much more than just having a pet, and why it's so much more than just 1/4 of In the Image Clothing Company. Because everything we're going to be doing with our lives, we'll have our poodles with us. As in the Image Clothing Company, 1/4 of us being In the Image Clothing Company poodles, they're just going to be with us as our team members. Like I say, we'll always have a beautiful, strong team under In the Image Clothing Company. The poodles are part of the team, okay? And there's so much of a role that these dogs play. Our dogs will, and just dogs in people's lives. There's so much to the ownership of an animal in general, but then specifically what dogs can do through therapy dogs, emotional support dogs, service dogs, okay, working dogs of all types. There's so much that we will have these poodles be doing for and with us. And so, yeah, I just need to make sure and hit the point, of what the point of the poodles are. Because there's a lot to it, man. There's going to be so much to it, okay? It's going to be shocking. Because I say it like this, In the Image Clothing Company, our 5-word name doesn't really explain what we do. It really doesn't. Because we do so much, and so much of it is with dogs. And it's like, what? Clothing company, huh? Yeah. Collars, leashes, harnesses, similar things we'll always have for dogs to keep them centered like our human being clothing. But so much free modification gets shown in clothing or dog products, and just like modifying our lives, right? Our lives, how to approach life to just have the body be able to work. The human body would just work if it wasn't placed in this modern man-made world. If we didn't have these clothing designs with things like the stretch that comes with these unnatural materials, which goes the opposite direction of the only way muscles could ever work, okay? Muscles only pull or contract. Stretch goes the opposite way, and so that's the video's title, right? Chronically short muscles from clothing. Because, yeah, it's crazy. We'll get into it. But I'm just making it clear, you know, how much we do. That's what I'm going to make clear. That's what I'm going to say for that right now. Because, yeah, the body would just work. But we've got chronically not just tight, but short muscles in the body where we do. It happens. It comes up. It's happened to me in times of my life. I'm still doing what we really do under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here, and getting out of chronic patterning and scar tissue that gets built up in the body. That's the point. That's the reason why we focus on clothing at all. That's why we are a, quote, clothing company, unquote, okay? Anything that clothes the body, it's got to be placed on it intentionally. There's only one way the thing works. That's truth, okay? It's impossible to train the body to get it to do anything. It's impossible to just train to a neutral center of gravity. The tip of your fingers hanging down at your sides is just the other end of your shoulder. It's the same thing, okay? And it's just neutral with gravity's pull. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Things like the natural scapula position, the big bones on our upper back that are our shoulders, and the collarbones, right? How oversized clothing affects the collarbone is a big point. But oversized clothing and the collarbones is actually what it's titled. A video here under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. We're just pivoting on this collarbone when our shoulder's moving. There's only one way the human body could ever work. I mean, there's no possible opinion to have. It's not any new information. It's been the same since the first man, Adam. And really, it's been the same since God, which has always existed. Because for him to design us in his image, he had to first exist. Okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work. No opinion, don't come after me, but if you've got a problem with us, stick around. Don't come after me, you hear that? All of a sudden I'm backing away. It's like, I mean, we just give so much deep context, and that brings deeper understandings on what we're really saying and what we're really doing, why we're really a clothing company, and who we really are as in the Image Clothing Company. Oh my goodness, there's only one way the human body could ever work. What we do though is get chronically tight muscles that are not just tight, but they're literally shortened. Muscles actually become chronically can just mean like life lasting, permanently, until fixed or addressed, if you will, okay? We can get chronically or, yeah, permanently until addressed and fixed. I mean, we can fix these things, but shortened muscles. Not just tight, like, man, my muscle seems to get tight again and again and again, and so I'll stretch it just for it to get tight again, and then I'll stretch it and it gets tight again. You go to a chiropractor, you go to a physical therapist, you go to anywhere, you try to do workouts, you try to stretch your body when your muscles only pull and you're pulling on them. Wow. There's just opposing muscles, and so we have to have things evenly contracting against the neutral position to stabilize, okay? Evenly contracting against the neutral position to stabilize. In everything, there's opposing muscles in the body. There's opposition in all things. Like I said, we just discussed it in life in general. There's universal truth to life, the gospel of Jesus Christ. The good news of God is what that translates literally into, okay? I have no opinion on this stuff, and I have no, like, care if you care. You don't have to care about clothing. It's affecting you. It's placed on your body. But this is the thing. You can never benefit from going to a chiropractor or a physical therapist or by trying to stretch your body. That you'll never benefit from. Just about never. Pretty much never. You can't, right? You're not going to benefit from pulling on your muscles when they contract. Muscle fibers, it's an electrical system, right? They fire and close and get shorter and contract and pull together. Muscles can't push. And so if you stretch your muscles, you're going to just do it again. Because we have to get down to why they're getting tight. Because in a lot of cases, like I'm saying, it's not just that they're happening to somehow get tight, and why? Why does it keep getting tight? You know, it's like stay loose, muscle, stop tightening. Well, why is it tightening? Because there's opposing muscles. Right? The pectorals on the chest here, how clothing causes tight pectoral muscles, and really it's just only if we're not intentional, but we don't know what we don't know. We can't be held accountable for what we don't know, so how would you know to be intentional about your clothing if you just don't know? I mean, I was 24 until I knew just about any of this stuff, okay? 24 years old, I mean, yeah. I was doing basically just about all of the same things that I say are so damaging to the body, and I'm out here pointing fingers at people for doing. Well, I was one of those people. It's just that you have to be intentional, or these things affect you, even if you don't care to even try to care. It doesn't matter. Just like you don't have to even care to try to care about God. He's there, right? There's an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast titled, "You Don't Need to Believe in God." And that's on a podcast where we preach about God. He's there regardless. You don't need to care to try to put, intentionality on your clothing for it to be affecting you. It's affecting you. We've got a lot of things nowadays that are affecting us. Okay, we'll get into it, but this is the point. There's opposing muscles. The pectorals pull forward, pulls the whole shoulder forward, pivoting on this collarbone, right? The scapula, or the big bone on the upper back here, is wrapping around the rib cage. Then we've got muscles on the rear of the body like the trapezius. The upper, middle, and lower trapezius connecting from the scapula to the spine, pulling the shoulder backward. So we've just got opposing muscles, and there's a neutral to that. Okay? The natural scapula position, up and down, rotations, internal versus external, front to back, in all the ways, there's just a neutral to the body, okay? Now here's the point. That's the point. That's the point, okay? So we've got a lot of videos discussing just where things sit. Things like the importance of even musculature and their insertions, like back here behind the ears on the actual skull, the importance of even sternocleidomastoid insertions, this little muscle that starts down at the collarbone and the sternum and comes up and connects at the rear of our head back here, right behind the ears, right? We talk about the importance of even jaw musculature and keeping the jaw centered and stabilizing the entire body. It's also your eating, it's also your breathing, and it's also your speaking and whatever else we could say the jaw does for the entire body. It's huge. So this is what I mean. You can focus on your entire body and stretch things. If your jaw is imbalanced because you're always eating with just one hand, and your musculature of your jaw is imbalanced, but also just your teeth that just wear down because we're just grinding food together between them, have ground down, right, worn down, off-centered in this right-handed world, then you can stretch all your muscles all throughout your body all you want. If your jaw that's stabilizing your entire body is imbalanced and stabilizing from there, then the rest of your body is just going to be imbalanced with its musculature's contraction. Muscles only contract, the human body only pulls. Muscles connect from the outside of the shoulder into the center of the body in the front at the sternum, these pectorals I was just discussing, evenly on both sides. In the rear of the body, muscles connect from the outside of the shoulder into the spine in the center and contract evenly on both sides, like those trapezius muscles I was discussing. There's opposing muscles. There's two sides to a function, or there's no function. Otherwise, you just move one way and you're done. And then what? There's no function. You just moved something, and now it can't function, right? It has to have two sides to it, or else there's not a function. There has to be two sides to things, or else there's nothing. There's only light because there's dark. I'm a preacher, bro. I'm out here I feel like I'm rap battling nobody. I'm yelling at a pole, basically. I get it. I get so bold and I yell about these things. A lot of this is just documentation, time period wise, right? The 15th of December, 2025 today. I'm in this for life, and we'll just discuss these things forever and just deepen our understandings of them only, which is great. Just documentation, okay? But we do so much under the gift of video, it's kind of always just another documentation. Anything we do under video, as in the Image Clothing Company, even, decades down the road from now, yeah, that's the point, okay? Because it's truth. It'll never change. It's eternal. It's not my decision. I couldn't take credit for it. That's why I'm so bold about it, okay? Everybody is affected by the same things, okay? We're all on the same earth. We're all the same things. We're human beings, bro. I'm not upset, just to be clear, right? If you don't know anything about me yet, it's like, why is he so mad? I'm not. I'm crazy. All right, let's leave it at that, just because I love to say it like that, because there you go, okay? Who is it that ye say that I am, okay? I'm out here just really giving information, and I'm really out here enjoying Spanish Fork Canyon, Utah, right now. But we've just got opposing muscles in the body, okay? The feet are some of the biggest things we focus on. We've got so many videos discussing the feet, all right? Oh my heavens. Okay, the importance of zero drop shoes. The term zero drop just means the shoe is flat on the ground. Okay, left to right, front to back, heel to toe, just like the foot's on the earth, because God designed the human body to work flat on the earth. There's only one way the human body could ever work. I don't stretch, by the way. That's good context. I mean, I make it clear that you can't stretch the body and benefit from it, but I also preach what I have practiced in all the ways that I can, just being imperfect and sinful by nature, as we are as human beings. And where I am is by nature. That's what I love. That's what we do under In the Image Clothing Company, right? We live up Utah. Here's the point. I've got just full ranges of motion, you know? I mean, there's just a full range to every motion. There's two sides to every function. The feet have lifting the toes, dorsiflexion, being half of their function from the neutral to pointing the toes, or plantar flexion, okay? The top of the feet, that's the shoelaces. It's the upper of the shoe, okay? In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique is one of our two prerequisites, in addition to just discussing where clothing sits, to not alter the body. There's only one way it could work. We can't alter it. We know how to do that under In the Image Clothing Company. We're weaving ropes across our feet. On the top of them, half of their function, the dorsiflexion, lifting the toes. Okay, ow, that actually hurt. My pinky finger. There's only one way the top of the feet are going to be shaped, with those gripped arches, okay? And our feet grip arches from the outside in, opposing the center line. So we need to keep our heels on the ground. Even though it sounds like it might be opposing what an athletic trainer might tell you, there's a video here under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company titled Keeping Heels on the Ground. Okay? Because our pinky toes are the shortest, but we grip from those pinky toes in. They're on the outside of the foot. So we need to drop the heels to the ground so that we can then have the height of a gripped arch from the outside in. And then that neutral pinky toe straight forward, just because the different length toes, when they grip pulling back and in, that's just what happens, okay, because of the length of the toes. But if you lift the heel off the ground, your pinky toe can't even grip, and then your arch collapses and your foot sticks out into external rotation. That travels up your entire body. Your feet are the foundation. So the importance of zero drop shoes, right? The term, that is huge. That's the biggest thing if we're talking about bottom to top. You got to start with your feet flat on the ground because of Earth's gravity. Keeping your body over Earth's gravity, keeping our bodies over Earth's gravity, whatever it's titled, something just like that. A video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company here. You got to keep your feet on the ground, and you have to grip arches, otherwise your feet deactivate, and then the rest of your body's deactivated from there up. There's only one way the human body could ever work. The feet only have one way they could work. When we place shoes on our feet, well, the feet still only work barefooted. They just have to have a covering without altering them. So, In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, well, check this out, always stop laces at ankle flexion. A video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. The angle of the ankle is where we stop our laces so that we can just have that natural flexion. And the ropes that we're weaving across the top of our feet, we call them shoelaces, they're just ropes, can then stop right where the functionality of the flexion of the ankle is, okay? Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, right at the ankle joint. This is me giving all my secrets away. This is In the Image Clothing Company living up to what we say. We don't own this information. This is just God's truth. We're giving all of our secrets away and just continually deepening our understandings, free information, because there you go. We'll have human being clothing and dog products under InTheImageClothingCompany.com that are always good, with all of our understandings behind the intention of our design. We know what we're doing here. But the point is just to change lives and do a lot of beautiful things with dogs, and just have a big impact, have an awesome time here in the state of Utah, as In the Image Clothing Company specifically. It'll be great, So it's just, I'm giving all my secrets away for sure, yeah. Oh yeah. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos as of today's date, just discussing the truth of this, of how the human body works. No opinion, don't believe me. But the feet have to be flat on the ground, okay? So zero drop shoes, that's a must. If you've got heels on your shoes, what do you have? Chronically short muscles from clothing. Your shoes, in this case, your calf muscles. The muscle on the, shout out to Zero Shoes, the brand. These are the Ridgeway model. Zero Shoes is amazing, by the way. The brand, I love them. I've been shouting them out since the very beginning of all of this, basically right at the very start of In The Image Clothing Company. They're amazing, okay? But here you go, In The Image Clothing Company shoelace technique. Find it where you find it. Stopping laces at the ankles flexion. Yeah, okay. Tying shoes evenly over toward the inside on both feet. That's just part of In The Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. But there you go. There's just two sides to the body, okay? These are the Ridgeway model shoes by Zero Shoes, the brand, okay? But the point is, the calf is on the rear of the lower leg. This muscle, when we're pointing our toes or plantar flexing our feet from this neutral, look at the bottom of the frame here, right? I point my toes. How I'm doing that is shortening the calf muscle. Muscles only pull, the human body only pulls. We'll have chronically short calf muscles. If we just take this neutral from dorsiflexion and plantar flexion and put a heel under the foot. Oh, what did we do there? We shortened the calf muscle. Chronically short muscles from clothing. Wow. Who's he yelling at, right? Someone will probably hear it one day. I'm posting it public for the entire earth to see under the internet. You know, holy cow, what is that? Oh shoot, I love it. Oh shoot. Chronically tight muscles that are actually chronically shortened, okay? Chronically short muscles from clothing. The calf muscles, before anything else traveling up. Well, really, I mean, the muscles on the bottom of the feet, you know? We're pulling the toes to the heel in a gripped arch, and a lot of that's coming from the Achilles tendon, which is what connects the calf muscle to the heel of the foot. But there's muscles, right? We're pulling the toes to the heels. So chronically short muscles in the feet, first off. Chronically short calf muscles on the rear of the lower legs. The importance of even Achilles tendon insertions. That's that tendon that connects the calf muscle to the heel of the foot back here. And yeah, all right. The importance of even ones left to right. We've got two sides to the body on Earth's gravity and a center line to the body, okay? Center line to gravity, two legs. If you do, maybe you don't have two legs, but then you wouldn't really need to be focusing on having even Achilles tendon insertions left to right. That's fine, right? Then we address it in the ways that we do with prosthetics and whatever, just to keep you even on Earth's gravity. It just is what it is. That's what I'm saying. There's still a center line to your body's gravity pull, right? Your center of gravity, the video I referenced under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. It applies to everybody, man. The information we give, nobody is excluded. Black, white, bond, and free, male and female, and whoever else, and all the other people that are not anything that we didn't mention. Wait, that would be the people we did mention. Everybody is alike in the eyes of Jesus Christ. We're all the same. We're designed by God. There's only one way the human body could ever work. So I scream about it out here in the nature where I do, okay? And on the carpet, too, when I'm sitting there filming In The Image Clothing Company podcast episodes. Chronically shortened muscles, man. It happens, right? Chronically short muscles from clothing. What we have as well is a video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company here titled, A Deep Discussion on the Right Achilles Tendon. Because we really do live in this right-handed world. 85%, give or take, of human beings across the planet are right-handed. So our bodies get into a patterning that's right-handed. I mean, clothing patterns themselves are right-handed. Products that are designed to be used are right-handed, essentially. Okay, so what we've got here, traveling up, is now if our feet are chronically not only tight, like you just feel like you need to stretch them out, but it's because they're legitimately shortened. The feet and the calf muscles. I mean, if you let's say you got heels on your shoes, right? As I did for so many years. I mean, I wore boots with an inch heel for a long time, okay? I did. I mean, I wore shoes with heels for a long time. That's what I'm saying. I'm not yelling at people like I know better, but I know better than I did in the past, right? So watch this. I was doing the same things you were doing, whoever you are, if you're doing them. But if we just are constantly in a little bit of pointing of the toes, which is what it means to have a heel on the shoe, you're just pointing your toe a little bit. Plantar flexing your ankle joint and really your foot, right? The lever system that is the human foot. okay? Plantar flexing, pointing the toes a little bit. Shortening the calves a little bit from their neutral, always, if we have a heel under our foot. Okay, so you'll never have your full dorsiflexion or lifting your toes ever within shoes with a heel under the heel of your foot. You couldn't, right? I mean, you're flat, and now you've got even lifting of the toes and pointing of the toes from the neutral. Earth's gravity, Earth's surface, the bottom of the feet, gripped arches, flat on the ground. Okay? If you have a heel under your shoe, the entire time you have the heel under your shoe, the heel under your heel of your foot, okay, you are that much into a range of plantar flexion, or pointing the toes. You are that much shortened in the distance of your calf muscle, or the muscle of the rear of your lower leg. You're lacking some of your dorsiflexion already just by having heels on your shoes before you ever go try to exercise, and don't. You're deeply ingraining chronic patterning into your body. If we have a chronically shortened calf muscle down at the rear of our lower leg, because we have a heel on our shoe, we're slightly always into plantar flexion or pointing of the toes, you can never actually get full dorsiflexion, which is lifting the toes, because that's the opposite way, and you're already slightly pointed from the neutral. And so you're shortened one distance away from the neutral, and there's a other side to the neutral. There's only one way the human body could ever work, and the big point, oh my gosh. The big point is I'm in this for life. Evan Strong, as the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, just meaning leading this for life. The big point is this doesn't exclude anybody ever at all, period, and done. In the Image Clothing Company's information, all of the things that we do. But the big point is that that's the big point. So that's why I pout about it. That's why I'm just so me. I just, screaming on the side of the mountain, literally, right? Talk about go tell it on the mountain. That's funny. That's what I'm doing right now, truly. I'm preaching the word of God on the mountainside, literally. So, it doesn't stop at the calf, though. The whole body is still supported by the feet with a heel under them. Okay? And so now the whole body traveling up is altered. I show it like this, because this is how it is. I just show it, is the point. The ankles bend backward. The knees bend forward. The hips bend backward. The lower spine bends forward. Lumbar spine is the lower spine. The mid spine, or the thoracic, bends backward. And then the cervical spine, or the neck, bends forward. We get up here, now we've got the jaw trying to stabilize the entire body. And if we have chronically shortened calf muscles because we have a heel under our feet, watch this, watch my jaw. The jaw moves out of its only neutral position. Neutral position, Earth's gravity, the Earth's surface. Neutral to plantar flexion versus dorsiflexion of the ankle with the feet flat on the ground. There's only one way the human body could ever work. I don't have an opinion, that's why I get so bold about it. It's not about me, that's why I get so bold about it, okay? It's the truth. Universal, unchanging. The same yesterday, today, and forever. God's design of the human body. No one could ever decide. No exercises could ever help you. Not really. I mean, no. They couldn't. Not to fix chronically shortened muscles. No. But if you're clothing your body with something that is not allowing your body to work, then you're not allowing your body to work. There's only one way the human body could ever work. No opinion anyone could possibly have. But it's unfortunate. That's why I hit the point so hard, right? That's why I say it like I do. That's why I say that's a phrase I could never overuse. Did I mention I'm a rapper? I literally am. But this is the point. That's a phrase I could never overuse. There is only one way the human body could ever work. It's the truth. It will never change. But what does happen all the time is changing people's approaches. People's approaches are changing is what I mean, okay? Physical therapists, chiropractors, personal trainers, yoga coaches, sports coaches, whatever it is, whoever it is, whatever you think you want to do, you're kidding yourself again. You're never going to do it. You're never going to get your body to work. It is physically impossible to train the human body to get it to do anything. I'm worked up because it's not my opinion, okay? It is what it is, though. It's the truth. You've just got neutral positions. We've got the pelvis in a neutral position. It's got a posterior rotation tucking underneath us, and then it's got the neutral. Then it's got an anterior rotation, which is just kind of falling away from us, okay? Neutral pelvis, posterior tucking, neutral, anterior rotation, neutral, neutral. There's a neutral. There's just a neutral. This is Earth's gravity. There's just a neutral. There's just a neutral. This is the fingertips just hanging down from the sides of the body, from the shoulder capsule. There's just a neutral. There's just only one way the human body could ever work. There's just a neutral. There's just a neutral. And you see it. You see people who live in places where they don't wear shoes all that much, like islanders, for example. Okay, tribal people, people in the rainforests. Because you wear shoes in a rainforest and you get, rotting feet because the water just gets stuck in there. So people don't wear shoes usually in places like this, okay? Out there on the beach, you don't normally wear shoes. A lot of people don't, okay? Their bodies usually work well. They can usually get down into a low squat well, okay? It's impossible to train to a low squat. I took a snippet from the video titled Your Center of Gravity. It was just filmed right over here the other day by me, Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. I'm in this for live, right? Yeah. There you go, okay? It's impossible to train to a deep low squat. You're just in your neutral position and you just drop lower in it in your range of motion that you're just already slightly into. The body's always slightly into ranges of motion, okay? To just stay contracted, activated, stabilized, supported, and neutral. I have no opinion. But I've got a lifelong company here, so I'm making some beautiful documentations. Foundational things, I'm laying a foundation. Actually, episode 100 of In The Image Clothing Company podcast was titled Laying a Foundation. Okay. Kind of so I could just say it, right? We did 100 episodes, and that was just the start. Well, it's the truth, but I kind of did do it, not to prove a point, but to make a point of it. You see what I mean? Because it's still the case, whether I'm trying to prove something or not, it's the truth. That was our 100th episode. That's just a very, very foundation. I'm in this for life. I'm just making it clear. I'm not screaming out of some kind of pent up, emotion behind an opinion. Nah, it's just the truth. It's just ridiculous, though. We live in this world where people have so much problems. Let's say it correct. People have so many problems. There's so much going on nowadays that people you don't know how to deal with because you can't deal with it. You can't have heels on your shoes and just deal with it. Your body's damaged. There's only one way your body works. You can't just deal with problems. If it's stuff like this that we are causing, you just got to stop causing it. But you don't know what you don't know, so how are you going to stop causing it? That's where In The Image Clothing Company comes in. That's what I mean. We just give our secrets away. Meaning we could try to harbor this and make this a whole let's make money off of this information that nobody else seems to really get fully, and it's just God's truth. It's always been the same. But no, we're here to just seriously give the information. Give it away, give it away, give it away. There's a song that sounds like that. Here's the point. That's funny. It just reminded me of a song I've heard many times by someone else. So it's eternal information. We're just going to give our secrets away, okay? We're just going to give the information, and give the information, because this is the point. We're very, very intentionally worded a company, not a business. We're a community, not a business. We're not here to make money. We're here to change lives. We're here to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ and do a lot of beautiful things with dogs as well. Things for the environment, right? Things for the health of the planet, things for the health of human beings. And our information applies to everyone. It's a big truck going up this canyon. Pretty darn slow. Big oversized load type thing, you know. It's a steep canyon, man. This is a very steep canyon here. Spanish Fort Canyon? Yeah. There's only one way the human body could ever work, okay? Don't believe me. Please don't. Please stop believing things and see what's left. There's only truth to life. You put all your beliefs aside and the truth just, whoa, manifests itself to you. It's been there the whole time, covered underneath all the beliefs that could have been. It never leaves. God, he's eternal. He designed the body. There's only one way it could ever work. But you've got chronically tightened feet, chronically tightened calf muscles, and not only that, but they're chronically shortened. These bends that are in the body opposing, right? Because that's the point, is it bends back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth as it travels up. The human being does, because we're on Earth's gravity, and we just have to we have to oppose our center of gravity with musculature's activation. And there's only one way the human body could ever work, okay? I have no opinion on this. I do have an entire life of doing this, though. I'm just hitting the point. Hard. I'm loud. I get it. I get it. I get it. I understand. I understand that I can stand with what we think of as good posture, and I couldn't in the past. I didn't do workouts or exercises. I didn't stretch any of my muscles. I'm not trying to convince you, but I just didn't. Because you can't. It's a mechanical machine. There's two sides to all the operations. You stretch to one side, now what about the other side? It's like when I'm saying, you're already in one side, a little bit of plantar flexion in the ankle joint, and there's the other side to get to. You stretch one way, but now what about the other way? Muscles only pull, so don't pull on them. But then how do we remedy it? What do we do when we have chronically short muscles from clothing? There's only one way the human body could ever work. I have no new information. I'm preaching God's truth. Seriously, really, okay? Like, actually, that's what I mean. That's why I say it like this. That's why I make it such like a production, because it's not about me. I'm just out here giving information, and I have a really good time doing it. Everything's got to be in its neutrals. Otherwise, it's not. Okay? So we just talk about where clothing sits, because if you've got your pants falling lower in the front, well, look at the angle of my hands here, showing my pants lower in the front. Now look at the angle of the ground of our Earth that we're standing on with its gravitational pull pulling down on us with our own center of gravity. Watch this. Right there. Now we're level on Earth's gravity. If your pants are just falling lower in the front, well, they're just opposing the angle of the surface of the Earth your feet are standing on. So we've got this foot with its neutral to dorsiflexion and plantar flexion, and that's great. If it can be neutral, but you got a heel in your shoe, not only is your foot tightened, shortened, not only is your calf tightened and shortened, not only are you just, out of your only neutral down there, but it's traveling up. And you're still on Earth's gravity, so what happens is your pelvis is now anterior. We've got muscles that just keep the pelvis neutral on the Earth's surface. The abdominal muscles here in our core area, like below our rib cage in the front, above our hips in the front, okay, they do what muscles do and only pull up from the front of the pelvis, or the hip structure, okay, the pelvis, here, where the legs come up into, where the spine comes down into, the pelvis, the hip structure, the core. The core can never deactivate, or you'll have chronically short muscles. This is what I'm showing. You can't train it, though. You never alter the body, it's just gonna work, it's all there. You place things on it that don't let some of it work, and that's what we're talking about here now. Right, I'm not upset, I'm loud though, I get it. The core, okay, the core. The muscles here in our abdominal area, they pull up from the front of the pelvis, working with the hamstrings on the rear of our upper leg, pulling down from the rear of the pelvis. It's kind of like this cross through the hips, right? from the core up here, up in front of the hips. We cross down behind the hips with the activation, hamstrings, abdominals, pulling, tucking the pelvis. Okay? On the other end, from that rotation, which is posterior, okay, pulling the pelvis underneath us. On the other end, we've got the quadriceps and the lower back muscles shortening, doing the only things muscles ever do, pulling endpoints together. They're just working, okay? And they're pulling, opposing, crossing through the hip structure or the pelvis of the human being. The lower back muscles are pulling up in the rear of the pelvis, pulling the pelvis up, or the hip structure's up, hip structure as a whole in the rear, working with the quadricep muscles, pulling the hip structure down, or the pelvis, in the front, okay? Crossing through the hips. That's how the body works. Posterior versus anterior with the rotations of the pelvis when there's a neutral between those two on Earth's gravity. So this is what we've got. If we don't have our pants sitting where we discuss as In The Image Clothing Company, because it's all about us, okay? It's nothing to do with us. That's why I say it like that, just to be clear. It's nothing that we could ever decide. It's just the physical, mechanical operations of bones connecting to bones the only way they can. With a neutral from rotations and sides to things, okay? Posterior tuck versus anterior tuck of the pelvis, there's just a neutral on Earth's gravity. It correlates with the neutral to the dorsiflexion versus plantar flexion of the feet, which is, well, the ankle joint, which correlates with the position of the shoulders, the natural scapula position, okay? And the whole body traveling throughout, out to the hands, up to the tip of the head. The same skin on all of the body is the same skin on all of the body. I don't have an opinion. There's only one way the human body could ever work. We just don't know what we do not know. That's fine. I mean, I didn't know this stuff. I hit that point. That's the point. I didn't know. I don't expect other people to know. But what I'd love to have happen is people to not be doing pointless exercises and stretches and spending pointless money at chiropractors and physical therapists. I mean, this is for elderly people. This is for little kids. This is for everyone in between. This is every human to ever live. There's only one way the human body could ever work, even if yours is different. The amount of yours that you have, you're still on Earth's gravity. You still just got the functionality you do. It's what it is, dude. That's why I'm so bold, is because it's out of love, all right? And boy, am I. I get it. I get it. I'm never going to be less bold than I'm just going to be, dude. I mean, it's just what it is. You have to speak it as it is to kind of pierce through people's beliefs of like, no, I went to school and I learned you stretch the body to do this. No, it's impossible. I couldn't have an opinion on it. It's not about me. That's why I'm so bold, okay? I've been thinking about an episode of In The Image Clothing Company podcast titled that. It's not one yet, but that's why I'm so bold. There's one titled How to Be Bold, and really it's you speak the truth, because then it doesn't even involve you. You're just a mouthpiece for the truth that anybody could speak. That's what I'm doing here. It's nothing to do with me. I feel like I'm fighting though, right? I feel like I'm just like lashing out at the mouth, because I am. It's just how I deliver it. It's just how it comes out authentically. It's just so real. You have to just speak it as bold as you have to speak it. If you do, I don't know. That's how I do it. It just comes out bold, dude. Because I know the truth of this. And I know that I am in this for life. I know that this applies to every human to ever live. I know the impact following me documenting these foundational videos. And that's where the boldness is coming from, okay? The pelvis. The pelvis has a neutral, okay? If we've got pant waistlines sitting in a position that's not just letting our pelvis stay neutral, when we're just placing something around our waist. Pants for everybody, like I say, man, woman, tall, short, skinny, fat, any age, any part of the earth, any time period to ever be. We're all just human beings, brother. It's like such a rapper, but in all seriousness, I am, right? That's why it comes out as well, you know. That's how I make music. It's so bold like this too, and so music is an expression. And out here, it's like I'm putting on a play sometimes, you know. It's like a theater production as I'm delivering this information. It's fun for me. You might be a little bit scared, thinking I'm just yelling at you. I'm not, okay? I'm not. I'm truly not. Don't believe me on nothing. But the pants have to be evenly sitting on the body so the body can be evenly on earth. The pants sit slightly higher in the front, and the reason why they do is because we do things in front of us. So if our pant waistline is going to be changed with its angle by us having motion in life, the way it's going to be changed is by falling lower in the front. You reach forward or you bend forward at the hips because we have a hip hinge where our top should sit waisted, right at the hip hinge. I know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm so bold. Here's the point. You reach forward to do things in life and your pants will just fall down in the front if they can. Like if they're allowed to, if there's motion there, if there's more weight in the front than in the rear. There's just a neutral to the pelvis on Earth's gravity, posterior to anterior. The pants sit slightly higher in the front just to ensure they don't fall lower in the front, okay? Because there's just a neutral. I'm so worked up about it, you know. I'm not. That's why I address it. I'm not. It's just what it is. The pants sit above our hips at what's called our natural waist. Above the hip bones, but below those lowest ribs, we can't actually bend side to side at the legs. Well, what I mean is at the hips, without a leg coming off the ground, okay? We bend side to side at the spine though, above the hips. So that's our natural waist. Chronically tight muscles, yeah, if you've got a pant waistline just sitting on your hips, you're just gonna have chronically tight muscles because there's muscles that just can't move in that location the way that they'd be trying to work around pants just being placed on the hips. Again, I did this stuff as well. I was wearing pants at who knows what kind of height, you know, just different pants I was, that sounds so funny. Different pants I was wearing in life, they'd be on my hips, they'd be like really low because I was like this, you know, thug rapper, you know, in like junior high school, for example. You see what I mean? Nah, it just is what it is. That's what I'm saying. It's just what it is. The pants have to be entirely above the hips because then that's how we open our hips. The hip, you know, the way that the femurs or the upper leg bones come up into the hips, they're kind of structured in a way where the legs come up with the bones of the upper legs, the femurs, and then they kind of come in where the actual ball of the top of the hip, well, the top of the femur is that goes into the acetabulum, the hip socket. I know what I'm talking about. The legs come up, don't believe me, but just to be clear, I'm not just out here yelling for no reason. I'm yelling for a very, very big reason. And you'll see it if you don't see it yet. You'll see it if you're willing to. There's truth to this, and there's only truth, okay, in life. The legs come up. We're rolling off the outside of our feet, okay? Different length toes. The neutral to the lower leg is this outward curvature. Then the knee can just bend and track in line the direction we're going. And as we get to these upper leg bones, the femurs, they come up and they come in. So the legs bones are actually farther out at the legs than where they connect into the hips. And that's just how it works with that ball and socket joint to the hip. And so if we have our pants on our hips, you're just gonna have all sorts of imbalances in muscles throughout the body because you're just outside of, you know, your neutral on one side or the other, with adduction or abduction, with the leg going back or forward, which is whatever that's called, right? What I'm saying is, in all the motion of the body, if we're just not in the neutrals, you're gonna have muscles just working where one side of the function is chronically longer and one side of the function is chronically shorter, and that's just how it's always going to be if your clothing's not sitting on your body correct. You don't have to care to care. It's affecting you. You don't have to think I know what I'm talking about when there's wind noise in the mic. See what I mean? It is what it is. I'm just worked up over something, right? Yeah, the truth. Pants have to be entirely above the hips, slightly higher in the front than the rear. There you go. And that's why. There's your explanation, okay? There's a pretty thorough explanation, at least. You know, we just discuss it kind of in different ways, from different angles, hitting all the sides that we do. There's a lot going on in the body. But there you go, there's an explanation for this. You'll have chronically not only tight but short muscles. If your pants are on your hips, you've got muscles like this. There's a little glute on the side here. It's called the glute medius. And really it actually pulls. That's what I mean by the shape of the way the upper leg bone or the femur comes up and into the hip. It comes up and then in at the top. And the hips really open up wider as we point our feet in. Because we have different length toes, it travels all the way up. This is what I mean. There's so much to the body, and there's a lot going on. There's a person with a dog over here. 2 dogs that I can see at least. Cool. Because since we have different length toes, man, this is more of just a discussion on the anatomy, deeper than I've given up until today's date, than just talking about chronically short muscles from clothing. Look at this. The different length toes, we roll off the outside of the foot, and now this outward curvature of the leg, that's just coming up from the outside of the body and then in to that ball at the top of the femur that connects into the hip socket. And so if our pants are on our hips, we just can't open our legs, which actually is internally rotating our feet because we have different length toes. So as we roll off our toes, our legs go out. That's how it works. But not if your pant waistline's sitting on your hips. You'll never even open your hips. See what I mean? How clothing causes chronically... And then I'm like just like so winded. It's like I just did like the... That's how I feel. I feel, you know, I say this kind of stuff and it's like, this is so huge, it's ridiculous. That's what I mean. People don't know this. You can go to 8, 10, 12 plus years of school for physical therapy or physiology, whatever it is, you know, learning how the body works, chiropractic school, and you don't know these things. Some of those people don't. What I mean is, you can understand how the body mechanically works, but you might not know how to get it to. Well, when I say get, you can't get it to, but you might not know why it's not working. It's the only thing physically placed onto it. It's the clothing. Because that's what I'm saying is you'll never have normally activating muscles on both sides of a function just to stabilize and just stay in the neutral. In a place right here, like the hips, if your pant waistline is not above your hips and slightly higher in the front. Look at how, if I tuck my pelvis underneath me, posterior, my legs go out. Because that's what I'm showing is the shape of the bone of the upper leg, that femur, it's just shaped in a way, and the muscles are just connected in a way from the pelvis into the femur. I have known this stuff since like the founding, or you know, I mean, my understandings of this have deepened as time has progressed, but I've never put it into words quite this well as I have in this video. This stuff about the hip structure, you know, this is amazing. This is permanent. This is the gift of video. I've never explained this in words quite this well. I've understood it and I've like figured it out, and that's how I know where clothing sits, you know, it's out of personal experience. Prayer and revelation, trial and error, this is how I've gotten to this place. This is how I have founded In The Image Clothing Company. I'm in this for life. This is the whole thing, is a lot of people don't even know this if they know the anatomy of the human body deeper than I currently do. They don't know what needs to happen to get it to work. It's just get that word get out of there, but to allow the body to work. That's what I'm saying. When I posteriorly tuck my pelvis, my legs roll out. It's the shape of the bones, the top of the femur coming up and then in toward the center line of the body with that ball at the top of the femur into the socket of the hip. And what happens is that allows our arches to grip. And it's just that it's all happening at the same time. That's what I mean. God just designed the body to work. It's like all the animals out there that don't do stretches or exercises or workouts, and they just work. Cheetahs run like 70 miles an hour, give or take. It's a cat, right? Those African cats, those cheetahs. It's the fastest land mammal on the earth. Yeah, there you go. Sure, it is, right? The fastest land animal, though, I think, not just mammal. Yeah, but the point is, I say that because they're not out there like training for a running marathon. The cheetahs, like, oh, let me stretch, let me work out, let me warm up. Their bodies just work. God designed the human body to work the same way he designed the animals to work. Now you know why I'm so passionate, because I really do understand this so deeply. It's ridiculous. Everyone's got it wrong, and myself would be included in that if we were trying to get the body to do something. Because as we posteriorly tuck the pelvis, the arches of the feet just grip, but only if the heels are on the ground. You take your heels off the ground, and because we've got different length toes, the knee just collapses in because that pinky toe can't grip from the outside. And if the knee collapses in, well, the foot goes out into external rotation. And then now, since the shape of the bone of the upper leg, the femur, comes up and then in at the hip socket, well, it'll never open unless the foot opens on the outside of it, gripping in from the outside of the feet with the heels on the ground. Meaning just being able to get neutral from dorsiflexion to plantar flexion, which is the surface of the earth. Here's my assignment, teacher. Do I get an A+? Yes. If I'm grading it, I mean, yes. This is the only way the human body works. This little muscle, the glute medius, okay, it actually internally rotates the foot down there. How does that happen? Well, because the hips open up and it pulls in a way where it allows the full range of posterior motion of the pelvis, outward roll of the feet, full contraction of the core muscles and the abdominal areas, and working with the hamstring is what that glute medius does to really get us fully open. Now you're just like open. Try to stretch to it. You see what I mean? Yeah, try to, well, there you go. That's the point. That's the wrap up, meaning correlating it with chronically short muscles from clothing. Try to stretch to watch my hip structure. It's good because I've got some slim pants on and my shirt's nice and waisted where it needs to be, right? Tops need to be waisted at that hip hinge. Well, that's another point. Just tops themselves, you're not going to open your hips if your tops are closing your hips off. Clothing's truly the only fix to human beings' physical problems. No approach, no claim, no opinion, no belief. It'll never change, and it's nothing to do with me. I'm just passionate about it because it's the truth. This is what I'm saying. Watch this. Are you watching? You're probably watching. Keep watching. This will change your entire life. In the Image Clothing Company in general, we will. That's the point. It's not about us. That's how. Okay? Watch this. Okay? Side seams of pants need to be right at the edges of the hips, right? Okay? Check this out though, because this is the point. If we can't open our